Hey, everybody. Wow, okay. There it is. There's the audio. Thanks for coming. My name is Pete Larkin. Woo! My name is Pete Larkin. I'm the head of the marketing chapter. Excited to be here with y'all, and also grateful to have Buck Wild Media in the house with us today. Really quick, just kind of looking at the agenda here, we're going to have a quick word from our sponsor here in a moment. After the sponsor, we'll go into the keynote presentation. We'll do some Q&A, and then after, we'll do some more networking discussion, whatever. We're a little bit smaller than typical. We usually have a little bit bigger of an audience. We're small, but we're mighty. We're mighty. So I'm gonna ask something that people hate when this happens, when you go to an event. But for the sake of the presenters, it's helpful. I'm going to ask if we can bring it in a little bit. So we're going to, if we can, let's consolidate a little, and let's come up to the front. I know that that's a little uncomfortable. I apologize. Everyone's like, man, I'm just comfortable here. I don't want to move all my stuffs out. I apologize, but it really makes it easier for the presenters. So we're going to have you come up, get a little cozy, and it's a great way to connect with others that you haven't been with or haven't met with yet. So I appreciate that, especially our gals coming from the back. Thank you. I think one of you had volunteered to do some karaoke. Is that right? Yes. I think that was you. Cool. Well, just a quick word about our next event. We're going to have a panel discussion about customer marketing. I'm curious, how many here, your companies currently do much customer marketing? Just show of hands, just curious. 1, 2. Even with the bigger population, I would expect to have not a lot. Not many people raising their hands. It's not something that I see very frequently across many organizations, so it's going to be a really insightful discussion. We're bringing in a lot of the pros, Carolyn Jardine, Mike Jeffs, and Austin Sandmeyer. That's the 21st of June, so here in a bit. So is that like 2 weeks from now or so? And that'll be here, same time, same place. So just if you want to put that on your radar. Also, I don't know if this is going to work if you want to try and scan it. How many have seen the new Silicon Slopes event platform? A couple people, 3, 4. So I guess those who officially registered for this event should have seen that, should have gone through that. It's new, clearly, but and there are still a couple hiccups that we're working through with that new system. But we're learning, and the company that's just helped us implement, we're working out a couple of bugs, so I just appreciate your patience with that. But if you haven't seen it yet, definitely invite you to scan the QR code. It should take you right to it. And then I love doing this. If you've been to these events, you've seen this. But at the beginning of every event, we like to ask, one, who's hiring and who's looking. So if you are in the marketing world and your company is currently hiring, would you mind raising your hand high if you know if your company is hiring or a company you are like pretty intimately familiar with, maybe hiring for a marketing role? 1? Okay. Is there anybody here that's currently looking for a marketing role? Possibly a pivot. Some of you are like, I'm sitting next to my boss. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and move on to our sponsor. So David Gilliland? Gilliland. He's like, oh, man, I just paid for your food, and you're getting my name wrong. I apologize. Thank you. Big thank you to Elite Entrepreneurs for providing our lunch today, for being our sponsor. I'm going to turn the time over to him, after which I'll just have one more quick word, and then we'll get going.
You have a clicker? Okay, hope you like the food. I didn't pick it out. That was Nicole. Thank you, Nicole, for the food. That was fantastic. For a quick scan, how many people here are the owners of their business? Good handful of owners. How many are leaders within the business? And then how many wish that your leaders were better than they are today in your business? Okay, see, so Anyway, that's really the place that we end up playing, what we look at. Oh, I'm going the wrong direction. Forgive me for not knowing how to use this yet. Lead Entrepreneurs is the name of the business. We take care of businesses that have grown beyond $1 million in revenue. Tend to be a team of 10 to 100 employees. We don't take care of the ones that are above that 20 million, whatever kind of space. We take care of the smaller group. We find there's some issues they deal with. Only about 95, 97% ever actually make $1 million. Most of them close down before then or never get to that point. That's why we call them elite. So Elite Entrepreneurs is actually off the people we serve. We really are impressed with what you do. Quick thing, this is what it feels like to lead sometimes. Does anyone recognize any of these words? These are things you wrote in your journal, things you were talking to your spouse about, right? It's this, which of these words sticks out to you? Shout one out quickly. Reactive, okay. Anything else? Firefighting. Yeah, it feels like that, right? This is what we go through as leaders. We've found that there are stages in business to look at. Stage 1, you're starting off. Stage 2, you've got a couple employees, you're moving through, you're learning how to sell. Stage 3, you have to figure out your marketing and your service, right? This product market fit really matters because you can't just hustle for the next dollar. You've got to get this nailed down. Once that's nailed down and you start growing beyond there, your major hurdles are actually people and systems, and then the next layer up, leadership and culture. This is what will eat you alive. This is where your margins will disappear and your life will suck. So we focus for stage 4 and 5. That's what we play with. If anyone's in that space, we're glad to help you. This is Bill Harney. His little business might sound familiar. Business was slowing, maybe on the verge of stalling, working 78 hours a week, blah, blah, blah. There's got to be a better way. Too many people less talented than I was were successful. Why couldn't it be me too? Right? I needed a little bit of help. We had a chance to get to know Bill and work with him. The principle that Marshall Goldsmith teaches is, what got you here won't get you there. That's actually what's happening. The hardest thing is you were successful. You made it to this point. And the formula for success, you know it and you're running it. But it changes at this point. And if you don't change the formula, you get crushed by your own way of doing things. And so that's why we love working with people like Bill. He says, yes, I loved it. If you ever want to read this, you can. We don't have a ton of time. But he really loves it. And so do everyone else you work with. We've got a methodology, blah, blah, blah. As you're, how do I push the button to keep it going? There we go. Here's a leadership model. One thing that may help you that you don't always recognize is as a leader, you have to stop being the doer. And if you learn how to set the vision regular in the minds and hearts of your people, how to then also spend time building your team on the regular, instead of answering their questions and problems, teaching them how to, working with them and through that, and then knowing how to deliver results while all the time caring for and with your team, they will lift your company for you. There's a new formula, and we love to share that with people. So, blah, 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 blah. If you want to grow, if you like to be successful, this could fit with you. If you're not afraid to enroll your team in co-creative process, what we do could work. If you genuinely care about your team, what we do could work. If you don't, there are other places for you. It's not really with us. Yada-da, there you go. Look at this. We're just going to keep pushing through it. There is a comprehensive approach. There's a new formula. It's learnable. We've seen people who were no good with people, engineer types, become great leaders and love their new role, and their teams love them too. I've seen marketers who were fantastic marketers and really stunk at actually organizing people and helping them stay on a rhythm and what they're doing, really shine, triple their businesses, 10x their businesses, and do that while spending more time with their families. So there are ways to do it, even if you didn't think you had the knack for it. Marcy is a great example. She's now at 20 million, started with 1 million, but it's how she and her husband now interact. It's the coolest to watch. They're just one team. Melissa's also great. Best businesses, best leaders build the best businesses win. If you want to taste it, we're having our first ever event in Park City. We've been hosting them in Phoenix for the last several years, and this will be the best leadership event for small businesses that Utah will see all year. fantastic experts, people who have been in the trenches and are sharing their stories, great networking opportunities, and you're welcome to come. It's August, whatever it says on the thing. Get the QR code, scan it, and that should be my time. Oh, I have a little special if you want. And sorry if this goes against like a competitor or something. Sorry, is this recorded? Grounded, who's also a marketing agency, I thought he might be here today. I created a code for him, but if you typed in grounded, GR, just all caps grounded, then it'll give you like $200 off the tickets to go to this event. So,
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. Awesome. One more round of applause. Thank you, David. Okay, we're going to turn time over here in a second. But just by way of quick introduction to James, I actually first knew James as Jameson. And James and I, we were first introduced working on some projects with BYU Independent Study. I mean, James knows this image intimately. But James was working on a project back with in the Devon Supertramp days. I mean, those days are still going, but this was like really a heyday. If you've heard that name, Devon Supertramp, he was one of, in my opinion, one of the first like real kind of pioneers when it comes to YouTube content creation and just kind of viral video influencer type. Creating a lot of really amazing things, and James was right there along doing some incredible projects. And my background, I started my career in film, and I was at the film school at BYU, and that's where James and our paths started to cross. And over time, I've followed James's career, and what I've found really inspiring and just exciting about his career is he didn't let the production of film just be kind of the core of his career. He went beyond just the production and looked at of course the pre-production, the production, the post-production, but into distribution and into marketing. And I consider James to be one of the foremost leaders in video marketing, specifically an elite marketer, not just some. And I think James can relate to this. Sometimes people in the film world, they often get labeled as a video person, right? Like, oh, he's the video guy. It's like, that is such a demeaning title. Like, I don't know, guys. Like for me, like people would be like, oh, it's your video guy, and I'm like, that is like, just like, imagine just being like, oh yeah, that's the content person. It's like, just kind of demeaning them by a title itself. Anyway, so I'm really excited about this today. James, as I followed his career, there's just so much that he has done. And when we're talking, if you've seen any of the me kind of hyping this event, pushing this event, we're talking billions of views here. And I also posted recently and tagged James, views themselves are not a success metric. And what I mean by that, and this maybe I'm soapboxing a little bit, but views themselves, unless they lead to something greater, unless they lead to some maybe it's brand loyalty, maybe it's retention, maybe it's revenue, whatever it is, unless it leads to an actual goal that you're trying to attain, views become fluffy, marketing fluff. It's like, great. They're often referred to as vanity metrics. Views are really important, right? We need to be tracking and measuring them. But one thing I love about James is views are not the end goal for James. James drives revenue, turning views into cold hard cash. That's what I've been hyping. That's one of the things I'm excited to talk about today and learning more of his experience, both James and Christian. So I'd love to invite you guys up. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Pete, for that wonderful introduction. That was wonderful.
And Pete, thank thank you for hyping us as the video guys we are. Obviously, we love amazing imagery, as you can see by this high resolution image here. We don't take many pictures of ourselves, do we, Christian? Not enough. Not enough. Do you have a working mic? Check that one.
Yeah, I think so. I think this one's working.
Pete, do most people stand, walk? What do they do with their hands usually when they're up here? Pockets, okay. I'm going to be down here for this one. Well, guys, I've known Pete since college, and if you guys ever want to see a sick kickflip, this is the guy. I think that's where we started, yeah? Was shooting a whole bunch of skateboarding videos together, yeah? Good times, good times. Well, guys, what a handsome group of people. Thank you so much for letting us be here with you. We appreciate it. So Christian and I are Buckwild Media, and we specialize in high optimized performance video. In other words, content that sells. But I think it's only fair to be a little transparent here. Christian, are we marketing guys?
No.
We're not, are we?
No.
It's kind of like not where we started at all, to Pete's point. We always wanted to be in Hollywood. In fact, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you care about marketing?
0.03.
0.03, approximately.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But but I respect it a lot.
Okay,
but
good,
you,
good.
James,
I'm okay with it.
he's okay with it.
I'm okay with
he loves
it. To us, marketing is a necessary evil that doesn't matter if you want to be in Hollywood, doesn't matter if you want to be selling widgets or programs that unstop the bottleneck entrepreneur. You got to know it. Unfortunately, it's the place that we've got to be in, and whether we like it or not, we got to know it, right? And so let me tell you a little bit about kind of our past really quick. So I come from a 500-acre ranch up in Wyoming. We spent a lot of time growing up doing kind of outfitting, ranching trips and that sort of thing, and I always loved film. And Christian, if I can brag about you for just a second.
Well, I grew up on a ranch in downtown Sacramento.
Rancho Cucamonga.
Yeah.
Christian is a content connoisseur. In fact, he just recently signed a deal with Netflix. Who's heard of the franchise Fablehaven? Okay, good. So
Doesn't leave this room.
Doesn't leave this room. Where are you recording this, Pete? Is this right here? Is that where that is? Okay. So Christian actually owns the rights to it. Just recently sold that to Netflix, and as soon as the writer's strike is over, you're looking at the executive producer and the writer on Fablehaven.
One of them.
Well, I'm going to say the capital THE. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Christian also has a collective, what is it? 1 billion views on YouTube. Everything from Fruit Ninja. You can see him right now on Disney Plus's The GOAT, G-O-A-T. He's episode number 1. And he's done everything from wearing a Speedo with Cristiano Ronaldo to, my gosh, rolling down hills in Peru. Everything.
Breaking my back there.
That's right. So to say that this guy knows good content, is an understatement. In fact, we've even run tests on him, and just Christian's image alone will increase your videos by 16% retention from the very get-go.
Takes
just
a lot.
having Christian's image.
Takes a lot to keep this up. Yeah.
He's fantastic. We absolutely adore him. But coming back to it, we're content guys first. I started a company back in 2013 called Jamestown Films, and our main focus back in that time was really shooting for Travel Channel, Discovery Channel, TLC, Vice TV, Viacom, Spike TV, kind of larger networks is really where our passion was, and we did local stuff as well. But in 2009. That's when the landscape really started to shift pretty heavily. And if you guys remember this, who watched the Harmon Brothers Aura Brush ad they did back in the day? You guys remember with Morgan the Tongue? Dave Ackerman was the tongue. That was Jeff Harmon and his group that really started doing this kind of direct-to-consumer punching out into the market. There was more of that long-form style persuasion, and it was extremely effective. They got picked up and taken into Walmart. Then 2012, of course, who remembers the, I want to say DoorDash, but it's not that. That was 2013, Dollar Shave Club, thank you. 2012, Dollar Shave Club, anyone? Everyone, of course, at that point, right? Hard-hitting, those guys got sold. 2013, Harmon Brothers, Poopery. Who remembers the Girls Don't Poop campaign? It was disgusting and so effective. But by this point, the market started to shift. The traditional commercial, the traditional ad started to shift. It was no longer, hey, throw up a bunch of pretty images with lifestyle vignette imagery and hope we sell. By this point, everything was becoming attributable, right? It was becoming measurable. And so it was a huge, huge deal to be able to say, our content can convert to dollars for you. And it was 2015, just so everybody's clear, like we didn't write Squatty Potty, right? We didn't exactly do the creative, we just contributed to it. In 2015, Harmon Brothers came to us and said, hey, we want you guys to produce Squatty Potty for us. Squatty Potty, anyone? Anyone? Couple? Cool.
It's a great product.
I to this day, it's still just a stool. A great stool, but it's still just a stool. I remember being on set on that one and just going, what is this product? Really? Is this going to sell? And millions upon millions. His daughter has 2 of them, exactly. Millions upon millions later, it was a well functioning and performing product in general. So they came to us and they said, we want you to produce this thing. So we produced the video for them. We didn't write it. We didn't direct it. We assistant directed it, meaning we helped them create the shot list for it and execute it on set. And the rest was kind of history. Squatty Potty blew up. And then our company at the time, Jamestown Films, was forever changed. We didn't have anybody after that come to us saying, hey, make us a used car commercial that has just a guy talking about extra, like the traditional commercial died right then and there. All of a sudden, everybody was rabid for this type of content that had attributable, measurable dollars attached to it, for obvious reasons, right?
And do you remember the homie ads, the billboards that you saw? That was all James.
We didn't do the billboards, but we did the first video.
Just
for
kidding. I'm totally joking. I wasn't with James at the time.
Super close.
So that.
But Chris is here. Our cousin Damien and I wrote that ad, and I think Dave Bascom said about that ad that was like one of the largest record revenue months that they had after that ad dropped, because we did that for Homie as Jamestown Films. Grip 6 came to us after Squatty Potty and said, by the way, this is the belt right here. It's the greatest belt on planet Earth. Jeff Bezos took it up into space on the SpaceX flight. It's a fantastic one. But that one, they said that the video did millions upon millions upon millions of attributable dollars to them. And then after Harmon Brothers, Squatty Potty, we did Purple, Fiber Fix, Squatty Potty 2, Squatty Potty 3. And the point of this is, as to where this is heading, is we're going to talk about how important it is to get that product and that message right. But in 2017, Harmon Brothers came to us and said, hey, we want to buy your company. And we go, really? Why? They're like, we got a good feeling about this. So 4 months later, we let them buy us, and we went in, and I became a senior creative director over there. And one of the first projects they put us on was called Cub Coats. Cub Coats was this cute little plushie that all of a sudden you unzip the back, you turn it inside out, and it turned into an adorable little hoodie for your toddler. Super cute product. But Cub Coats had a very unique request for us. They said, look, we don't want to do one major hero video, because these videos are hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars. They go, we want to make 2 videos out of this thing. And so Harmon Brothers said, okay, you're the creative director on it, James. What do you want to do? I go, guys, I'm just a 35-year-old from Wyoming. I don't know. Like, I just make cool videos. What do you guys think we should do? But they go, well, okay, the first video, let's definitely make it about the cool factor. Flipping it in, out, unzipping, in, out, in, out. They go, we feel really good about that. That's going to sell. I go, okay, what do you want the second video to be about? And they go, well, you pick. I go, I don't want to pick. They go, well, you got to pick. James, at some point, you can't just be a content creator. You've got to be a marketer. And I go, I don't want to be a marketer. They go, well, pick something. And so I picked something kind of from my own palette. And I'm a very pragmatic purchaser. Like, I don't buy anything. I'm not a consumer at all, personally. And so I said, let's do, this thing's kind of a 2-in-1 thing, right? So let's take the pragmatic angle of it, and let's say it's a 2-in-1 purchase, so it's going to cost less. It's kind of a cost consumer economic play. And they go, okay, let's do it. So we produced the videos, and the results came out. and I could not have been any more surprised about the results. The video 2-in-1 destroyed the cool factor one in terms of ROAS, cost per initiate checkout, cost per purchase, cost per add to cart. All of the metrics shown on the two for one, and I was really confused. I go, no. This isn't how this was supposed to go. I was supposed to be wrong. This is supposed to be like the other piece of content. And they go, well, good job. It was right. And the point isn't I was wrong. I was right. They were wrong. That's not the point. The point is, all of a sudden, right then and there, I realized that I was talking to absolute marketing mavens. I still put Harm Brothers on a pedestal, even though we've separated and we're now Buck Wild. I still put those guys on a pedestal. They're wonderful people and they're very smart marketers. But I just said, how did I get this value proposition that performs higher than this thing? And all of a sudden, it posed this question in my head. How many times in our marketing in general are we using the lesser effective value proposition? How many times in our marketing do we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 value propositions that could be dropping our cost per acquisition, could be dropping our cost per initiate checkout? How many times are we going off this gut level assumption? And let me ask you this. How many of you have worked with somebody, some marketer who came in with the utmost confidence, said, this is what you have to do, this is our message, this is how it has to look? How many's worked with somebody like that? That's marketing, but that's not what marketing should be. What we learned that day was that marketing should be the least ego-driven industry on planet Earth. Marketing in general absolutely requires as much humility as you can put on the table. Because all of us, go ahead.
Well, we've seen it time and time again when, we have companies that come in and they say what their value propositions are, who their love group is, and all that stuff. And almost 9 times out of 10, it's not even like what they've been leading with their message is usually at the bottom.
And good people, brilliant people who have spent millions upon millions upon millions of dollars on their campaigns on a lesser message, on a lesser resonating message. Because if you can find that, and I know we talk about product market fit all the time, this really is at the heart of that. If we can find exactly what message and what offering resonates at the core, the sharpest of the market we can slay it all day long. And everyone knows about the iOS 14.5 breakage. Everybody knows how CPMs have gone up since COVID. Everybody understands that marketing has, like every group is on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, saturating the market, driving up the CPMs, which means that you just have to market smarter, not harder, not on assumptions, right? Because if we operate on base level assumptions, we're going to lose all day long. But if we learn to test the market and ask the market, hey, what do you guys want? How can you make me millions of dollars? The market will tell us. The market's ready to tell us all the time, but we got to be humble and ready to do it. And so after that experience, we went to the drawing board and said, how can we learn from the market exactly what the market wants? And how can we get out of their way? How can we provide a frictionless experience? And that's when we came up with what's called matrix testing. Matrix testing basically looks at one variable at a time in a video, but starting message first. And let me show you what this looks like really quick. Oh, good job, Art.
We got slides now.
We got slides now. He's editing it live. Very nice. And remind me, is it, which one is it here, Pete?
Stage right.
Stage right. Okay, I might need to come back here a little bit. I'll hold that guy for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. So as James is going back there with the
Computer. Well, James is good. We had our assistant finally is finishing up here our slides. But one of the things that James did touch upon is listening to the market. I love the marketplace because it's like it's democracy, but where votes are the dollar, the almighty dollar. So the marketplace will tell you exactly what it wants, as far as products are concerned and what value propositions it's listening to. So pretty fascinating.
We had to come up with a basic testing structure. And so we said, okay, every video needs to have a thesis. In other words, who are we talking to? What are we talking about, right? And so I think we tried this very first on a company called Sauna Benefits. Sauna Benefits is a premium health insurance company for small businesses, right? I know that sounds a little bit boring, but it's okay because content marketers, it's our job to make that as fun as we possibly can, right? And so we said, okay, so we're going to try this matrix test on Sauna Benefits. So we need a prefix, something that is going to be fixed across every single video, because as we're testing multiple videos, we need to test one variable at a time. So the prefix needs to stay the exact same. The suffix needs to stay the exact same on this video. And all we're going to be testing is the different value propositions on these videos. And we're going to let you watch this here in just a second. So I believe the prefix for her was, you've never seen health benefits like this. She walks in, it's a little 3-second intro. In other words, we're talking to people about health benefits, and I think she says, your business has never seen health benefits like this. So we're talking to business owners about health benefits. There's a clear thesis up front as to who we're talking to and what we're talking about. Then we'll go into the different value propositions, and then we'll try to sell people with a suffix, because obviously we don't just want to test for people, we want to make them money as well, right? And so we tested this with Sauna Benefits. And where's this clicker here?
And by the way, what's really cool, James didn't mention, was when he was creating the matrix, took it to one of his professors.
The head of the statistics department.
The head of statistics, yeah. Who said, what did he say?
We said, poke holes in this. What do you think about the methodology for measuring, and just tell us what's wrong here? And he goes, as long as your variables are staying consistent, he goes, this is brilliant. This works. This looks like this works great. And so I'm going to press play on this if it lets us. So you'll see a prefix here that's the exact same. You'll see a suffix that's the exact same in every single video, and then the only thing that will change is our message right here. Does this make sense? Any clarification needed on this one, guys? Cool. Then let's watch one. We're either going to watch quality, value, or cost. If this will work for us here. Maybe. There we go.
Your business has never seen health insurance like this.
There it is. That was literally the prefix that is on every single video with the thesis. And then I believe we get into
a hook that hooks within 3 seconds or so.
Then we get into the suffix.
Sauna makes your life way easier. It's like Russ says. Every interaction I've had with Sauna has been very quick, very positive. I use the money we saved with Sauna to hire an intern. That's all your responsibility now. And a coffee, please. Go to saunabenefits.com to save money on employee health plans with Sauna today.
So as we set this up, guys, maybe you notice about us that typically our videos are a lot less boring than this. But we literally wanted to test this in the most clear-cut way possible, so that we knew that if people are clicking through or purchasing or initiating checkout, they're not doing it because of like some sensational portion of the video. They're doing it purely because of the message. Because the entire intuition here was testing the market for message and then taking that message to the hardest hitting possible video we could do. And so you just saw the prefix at the very beginning of the video. You just saw the suffix that we put at the very end of the video. And then these are the 3 value propositions we tested.
Life way easier. That's like Russ says.
Oh, wait.
Every interaction I've had with Sauna has been very quick, very positive.
Okay, this is cost.
Do you know you could save up to 20% on your company's health plan with Sauna? Stop spending an arm and a leg on small business insurance plans that barely pay for broken arms or legs. What business can afford that? Our employee game nights get violent.
Okay.
And the reason we filmed it choppy like that,
20% on
just
your
kidding.
company's health plan with Sauna. Stop spending an arm and
but imagine, here's one thing really quick as James is pulling that up. Imagine spending just a little bit of money instead of millions of dollars to find out if your product is going to work, or even if the product the marketplace even wants your product. or desires it, if that makes sense.
And you're spot on. Either you're going to spend tens of millions of dollars over the next 10 years on the wrong messages, just shotgunning them into the ether, or you can do a very inefficient push up front that says, I will spend against slayers versus crappy things, and I will learn right now so I avoid spending tens of millions of dollars on the wrong message over time. Yeah, you're spot on. All right, so this is value, I believe.
If you have crappy healthcare, think again. The only reason I'm not a disco DJ is because the health benefits suck. But with Sauna high quality health plans, your best employees will never want to leave.
So anyway, we did this with multiple messages. Again, prefix up front, suffix behind, testing these. I was trying to get through them. And once we got into the testing phase, this is where the rubber starts to hit the road. When we first started with these guys, we said, okay, guys, tell us what you guys believe is your leading value proposition. They go, oh, bring your own doctor into network. You bring your own doctor into network? Like, nobody else has this. This is such a huge deal. We go, okay, what do you think your second leading value proposition is going to be? And by the way, here's bring your own doctor into network. We said, what's your second leading value proposition? They go, we get on the phone with you in under 60 seconds. That's unheard of. Nobody else does that. We go, okay, so customer service. What you're looking at right here is 2/3 of the way through the test in cascading order who had the most leads, who had the best cost per acquisition, who had the best cost per lead, etc. In other words, the money that they had been spending over the previous months, years, the messages that they were leaning into were 2 of the bottom 3 messages. Once they actually tested this video strategy, they were able to find out so many more value propositions that could literally drop their cost per lead like crazy. So, I'll share this one. So originally, before they came to us, and this was over at Harmon Brothers, by the way, before they came to us, their cost per lead was about $1,200. By the time they got to this top one, and by the way, employee replacement costs ended up becoming the number one thing. It ended up, these two were neck and neck, and then this ended up winning and then sifting like cream like crazy, just destroyed it for them. This dropped their cost per lead from $1,200 down to $191. That is extremely effective. That is extremely sharp.
Especially with a product that's thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right, with a very high AOV and a very high LTV, right? And so typically with the matrix test, we recommend to people, just spend like $10,000, $15,000 on spend to get directionally confident data behind each of your messages. This performed so well for them that they turned off everything but employee replacement costs, and they just reported to us, it was like 6 months ago, that they'd made $1 million off this test alone. And that was before starting the actual campaign that they came for to begin with, which was a big hero campaign, right? And so employee replacement costs, by the way, you guys didn't see that, but the message basically goes like this. Did you know that when a good employee quits, it can cost your company up to $30,000 just to replace them? That's enough money to have given them the excellent Fortune 500 health benefits they were asking for to begin with. That makes sense? It's a pretty compelling argument because all of a sudden in people's minds, they have this aha moment where they go, I've already spent that money. I don't want to replace an employee. That sounds painful. So we're then able to take this information and this writes our script for us. You're literally looking at, in order, what your hook needs to be, what your world needs to be around, and then in cascading order, what are the main value propositions and the modular sections within your script that you're going to use to create a hard-hitting video in general. And do you guys want to see the video that came from it? How much time are we at here, Christian? How are we doing?
12:43.
Oh, okay. All right. We always like to end early, guys. We're not those go to the end of sacrament meeting type of people. That's not us.
Oh, no.
Okay, so here's the original baseline before it's optimized. Every time we do a video, there's a lot of optimization that goes into it. But here you go. Oh, wait. I might have to go out for this one.
James's desktop always stresses me out. I'm such a folder person.
And for me, with ADHD, it's just so serene.
But your taxonomy is always so good. Other than
Your desktop. That's hilarious, brother. Here we go. So here's the original baseline before optimization.
For the best employees is a tale as old as time. Take, for example, Lewis and Clark. How did Lewis and Clark become the greatest explorers in history, mapping out thousands of miles of territory when their competition simply couldn't? Were they more prepared, better outdoors, better looking? Get not him! Yes. But they weren't just better explorers, they were better employers. Lewis and Clark gave their employees sauna benefits, the greatest comprehensive health benefits in history. With sauna benefits, Lewis and would back the very best trackers, packers, and accountants. You don't have good employee health benefits, you take what you get.
Cushion.
Benefits not only attracts the best people, it helps you keep them as well. Good employees are hard to come by, but good health benefits are not. You'll find them at saunabenefits.com. Why do most great employees leave? Around half of the people who quit their jobs say,
What was the winning value proposition?
You there, lad? It's because of the wall. It's no benefits, sir.
Lewis and Clark do full health, and when an employee quits, it can cost your company as much as $30,000
thesis.
just to replace them.
I'm really going to miss that money. Yeah, I mean, Matt.
Those sickly and odd chaps had deplorable health benefits and became nothing more than a pathetic footnote in history.
What deliver my foot dried up or disembodied?
But sauna benefits offers your employees amazing picking.
So this goes on, guys. Obviously, we have very long videos, right?
And again, we chose to film choppy because
We like sauna benefits.
we want people to fill in the gaps. It spawns more creativity.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So even after we finished up with that baseline video, we then go into an optimization phase where we basically say, look, on our retention curve, where are we getting bumps? Where are we getting drops? Where are we getting these waterfalls? What do people care about? What do they not care about? And we do what's called an intro variation test, where we test different sections of the video at the very beginning, so we can see what gets people and drops that cost per acquisition even more. By the time we were finished optimizing everything, now before I say this, what was the winning message in the matrix test? Who remembers? Employee replacement costs, right? Even on the intro variation test that we did months later after the matrix test, look at the winning intro variation. This is the one that converted the best.
Around half of the people who quit their jobs say it was the lousy benefits.
You there, lad? Is it because of the walls? It's no benefits, sir.
Lewis and Clark knew full well that when an employee quit, it
Fill in the blank.
Even after testing, the market will tell us over and over and over again what it wants. We can fight it. We can say, hey, this is a better intro. We spent $30,000 on that opening scene where the guy walks across the stage, sits down, and all of a sudden this huge bookcase opens up into the world of Lewis and Clark. We spent $30,000 on that opening intro. And we had to kill our darlings on that, because what we care about is what converts.
Conversion.
What wins. And so over and over and over again, if you listen to the market will tell you the same thing over and over and over again. If you're willing to be humble enough to listen to it. It will teach you how to make millions of dollars. That's what's cool about the marketplace. What do you want to add on this one?
In the name of...
Right? Just
That was
close
good.
it down.
No,
Just
that
shut
was
it
blasphemous.
down.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
But we've seen this over and over again with a ton of our different clients. For example, Defunctify, this amazing all-natural laundry detergent. They were leading with the message of sustainability. We tested it across 25 different messages. Sustainability was almost dead last, if not dead last. Their number one thing was their origin story, which talks about 3 PhD scientists who go into a hospital to get poop and pee out of bed sheets.
And blood.
And blood, that's right. Yeah. They used all the popular detergents, but only one thing worked, and that's the formula they developed themselves, and they were looking through a scanning electron microscope at these bed sheets to see what got out. That origin story followed by essential oils, followed by fastest way to destroy clothes. Those are the messages that we learned that we needed to lead with. And whenever we led with the right message, they won. And whenever we led with a lesser message, we lost. It was pretty predictable, actually. Recently with Tile Ram, if you see their trucks, they've been leading with the message of a dust-free solution, and it turns out that's an okay message, but it's not as strong as professional, punctuality, and there was another one.
Professionalism, wasn't it?
Professionalism was the biggest, punctuality, and one more that I'm trying to remember. But there have been so many. So Union Rescue Mission down at Skid Row, we just got back filming with those guys, ran a matrix test for them.
That was an adventure.
They actually had no assumptions, but we're seeing very quickly that that a charity that creates jobs is something that will get people to donate based off their matrix test. Just a few more really quick. Let's see, Tile Ram, Union Rescue Mission, Defunctify. We have so many of these.
Solid's not in yet.
Solid's not in yet. We'll get those soon. Grip 6 was saying there's over this morning.
Grip
for
6.
Socks and wallets.
Dirty Dough.
Dirty Dough hasn't run theirs yet.
No, they haven't done. Yeah.
We gotta get Dirty Dough.
Yeah.
There are a few more that I would have loved to mention. Scooch Case. So Scooch Case is this amazing phone case. We did this while we were over at Harmon Brothers. They were leading with, they'd been kicked out of Sprint because T-Mobile did the acquisition. And all of a sudden they found themselves just purely on e-commerce. And I think their cost per acquisition was like $450 for a $50 phone case. It was really rough. It was really rough. And they said, hey guys, help us out. What do we do here? They'd been leading with a 5-in-1 phone case, which doesn't mean anything if you don't know what all those 5 things are out the gate. But all of a sudden, you put this side by side with a, what are those other little pop-outs? What's it called? Pop socket. You put this side by side with a pop socket, showing how pocket-friendly this is versus a pop socket getting caught. You'll sell it at $14 to $20 all day. At least back at that time when we were doing it, was kind of living at a 3 to 5 ROAS. It was a much better place for them. So pocket-friendly was their message specifically. And then Go Treads.
Oh, yeah.
Go Treads was an amazing product that was around since the 70s. They were blessed by COVID because they were forced to e-commerce, where we did the matrix test for them, and we tested the market for them, and all of a sudden we learned that universality was their biggest message. In other words, it doesn't matter if you have a van, a motorcycle, a fire truck, a tank, this can get you out of the mud. And we were able to show that with a fire truck, which helped their conversions quite a bit. Their second one was safety, which sold like crazy to females 18 to 35, because if you're on the road and all of a sudden you get stuck in mud, sand, snow, you want to be able to get out without having a big burly dude coming at 2 in the morning to get you out, right? And so it's a really cool methodology when you can actually take one variable at a time, test it on your videos, find out what the market wants, and then win all day with it. So we highly recommend it. Hopefully that helps you guys, but I think we're ready to take any questions, right?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
do that. Let's go. Go for it.
So my first question is, oftentimes in testing a lot of different videos and the variables within those videos, a platform will default to optimizing and pushing most of the views very early on towards one that may have just an indication around the view retention rate or click-through rate, but doesn't tie all the way to converting events. How do you prefer when you're testing? Because something might work well on Facebook, but not as much on LinkedIn or vice versa, and it needs to be kind of honed in that way. So how do you force that? Is it through just the equal rotation setting before you move on, or do you allow it to do its first bit of the algorithm and work within that?
That's an awesome question. And by the way, Sauna did better on Facebook, Instagram than it did on LinkedIn, ironically. They figured out a different system later. What we'll typically do is we will put one ad in one ad set. And so we're testing, in the case of Sauna Benefits, let's say that there were 16 value propositions. We'll test 16 different ad sets, and each one has, again, one ad in it, so that they all get equal spend. The only problem is Facebook will always try to declare a winner. Right?
Early on, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. They'll always put more spend towards one demographic where they see as winning than others. And you can really try to force that by saying, okay, we'll do one ad set going to males 18 to 24, females 18 to 24 with equal spend there, but that's when you tend to lose in the auction because we've tried that before. But we've actually found great success in just pushing your spend higher in general. If it's a high dollar product, go $350 to $500. If it's a lower cost product, you can live kind of $250 to $450 type of thing. But one ad set, all demographics, one message.
And a little patience is your best friend on those. You know, because like James said early on, they'll try to, they'll try to pick a winner very early on, but you want to avoid that knee-jerk reaction of saying, well, these are the winners, these are the losers. You want to take your time.
Yeah, and we love ad buyers. We'll typically tell clients, we'll go, do us a favor, just tell your ad buyers not to do what ad buyers do, which is win up front, because everybody will. They'll turn off the losers up front, and all of a sudden you go, well, we don't know where this would have moved. We actually need you to spend inefficiently just on this one test, and then you've got confidence forever, or at least until the market cycle totally changes again, right? But awesome question. Did we answer that one?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
James, I've got one. This is all incredible. Seriously, just gold here. I'm curious, for companies that are smaller, don't have as much budget to work with, maybe startups, how can this be done on kind of a smaller scale?
You're asking a good question. We're going to be totally transparent here. We know that there are some theories out there that are actually starting to kind of match this ideology, which we love. We think it's really cool. We've seen kind of like the outlier method and some others that say, hey, put some stuff in at like $25 each. Even with this, you're not going to get to statistical significance without spending, $10,000 per message specifically. But my biggest concern is what we see even when you're spending a few hundreds of dollars. The messages they're oscillating constantly, right? And so we tend to like people to spend until all of a sudden there's kind of like this cream separation, and it's obvious, right? For example, with the employee replacement costs, it was like some of the bottom messages were like 12 leads, whereas the top one was like 67 leads, and everything else was kind of like parabolically climbing. We like to see that cream sifting going on. If people don't spend enough, they don't get the sample size large enough, you just won't get that separation. And so it's a really good question. And if any of you ever figure out how to do it, where we can test at $10 per message and get there, we would love to get there. But I know a lot of people have different theories on this.
As a follow-up question, with that takes risk and guts, and especially with some leaders who are maybe a little bit more tightly wound around budget. Yeah. How have you found it effective to have discussions with those stakeholders, with those leaders, to I guess help them have confidence in you and what you're doing, to go through those costly, kind of expensive scenarios where their gut reaction is turn it off, like stop wasting money. What are kind of conversations like, and I guess ultimately, how have you found success in gaining confidence and like having them take a chill pill while you do your magic?
Remortgaging their home.
Yeah, mortgage your house.
That's great.
I'm just kidding. No.
Take
Don't
out
ever
what
do
you
that.
want.
Don't ever do that.
Yeah, don't do that. And don't put it on us. Don't put that on us. I think past results speaks volumes to people. When we're able to say, because we'll get some people who go, yeah, is $2,000 across 15 messages enough? And we're like, no, it's not. Like at least for what we've seen. Somebody else might find that it is the case. But whenever we're able to say, hey, so company X, they spent $25,000 into confidence, but company Y was able to get there within $7,500, and the sifting happened. I think a big piece of it is really upfront expectations. And I'll be honest with you, like even when you have the clearest of expectations set up front multiple times, people will still go into that fear mode. And rightly so, when you're spending $7,500, $10,000, $15,000 and it's your last red cent, people get scared of that. And again, for good reason, it's a risk people have to be willing to step into, because you have to test into data, and then you have to optimize that data, and then you have to spend against the new ad. Luckily, this did well, and then this went to connected TV, and it did well for them, right? But a big piece of that is they were really willing to take the risk and foot the bill to get the learnings and execute on the learnings.
And we're always very transparent when we talk. I know James is really good at painting the worst possible scenario. We try to.
scare them.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, scare them up front.
Yeah.
I think that's the answer.
As long as you're scaring them up front, what's the production cost for running those? Let's say the insurance one, that was a good example, right? Because you had some basic. What are they looking at? Production costs. I always fear that we're testing garbage, and so it doesn't matter which message, it's all garbage.
I actually love this question because we've learned that you can test garbage. I know that sounds so weird. Just for privacy's sake, we can't share what they spent exactly. It's kind of why we read out the numbers on things. Yeah. So I'll tell you what a production of that, not this caliber, but of the actual test would cost with Buck Wild. Typically, you'd be looking at like $15,000 to $25,000 for higher production. But one thing we're trying to rush into right now is UGC testing. You know, literally getting in front of a cell phone and just testing your message. Get your prefix, get your suffix right there for free 99. Ideally, you get into a place where you just learn as fast as possible. Because the whole point of the Matrix is learn cheap and then hit hard on your production.
Mm-hmm. And UGC meaning user-generated content, for those that aren't aware what that acronym is.
But to be fair, we haven't actually tested that yet. We have tested stock footage, and we've tested like really low quality production, and believe it or not, at the Matrix level, it works well, and it'll still teach you great information. We've had some that have performed at a 3 to 5 ROAS, and then the client will say, okay, good, give me the top 3 based on the Matrix, and then we take that to a higher place that's kind of like between $35,000 and $65,000. And then all of a sudden you get really hard-hitting converting video at pretty dang cheap.
Yeah, I'll say with that, we had been working with VaynerMedia recently for some of their content, and it's people in the office. You know, their HR person could be behind the camera or in front of the camera just as much as, somebody who's a professional actor, but they just try to be really scrappy to work through it, and I've found that's often the case. My next question is just around, I'll take a specific example. I worked at Purple for a few years, and there's definitely there's definitely been a transition from a lot of, as you mentioned, kind of the heavy-hitting, very entertaining, very punchy type of content to a maturing of the brand and moving away from that and kind of more blending towards what you would see on Nike spots and kind of it's storytelling. There's some freshness to it, but also it's not got that same kind of cutting, humorous or other impact that you might see. So I'm curious if some brands you feel have more longevity towards the type of entertainment that goes along with education and these pieces, or if most companies kind of have this point where they need to break through the noise and then they start to mix things up in their content going forward.
Yeah, what you're referring to is market evolution in general, and we're seeing it right now. We're seeing it big time, right? Part of it is in what the algorithms allow us to do, right? We were just talking to Facebook this last week, and we said, be honest with us, guys. You're penalizing us after 30 seconds, right? They're like, we can't deny or confirm that we're penalizing anybody, but we strongly recommend you do 15-second or less content. I go, so you're penalizing us? We strongly recommend you do 15-second or less. Like that's an evolution thing, right? Like the long-form video, some industries can still operate in like a $9 to $15 CPM. Whether you go wacky or straight-laced, like it's the milieu we're up against, right? We adapt to the algorithms. We try to play their games. Sometimes we break their algorithm, which is the funnest thing to do in the world. But when it comes to, should a brand mature and go more clinical versus be a little bit more out there? I know we prefer to be out there. The question is what works. And the answer will always be test it. And I say that totally saluting Alex MacArthur and his crew that used to be over at Purple. We admire the heck out of those guys.
We've got time for one more.
You've talked a lot about the ad spend and the the pay to play type situation. Is there a method or a measurement that you take in for organic reach or organic distribution?
Absolutely. That typically comes when you're geo-targeting a specific company. For example, like right now with Dirty Dough, for example, right? Everyone has storefronts, all these different franchisees, and we very much take into account audience size on Facebook, audience size on Instagram. Typically with Facebook, based on your audience size, you'll see 20 to 40% of your audience getting reached every day, right? So we want to post every single day. We want that to be a part of our strategy rather than just a one-off. Whereas Instagram, you're typically reaching like 35 to up to 65% of your audience every day. So that audience size we constantly want growing, and we constantly want to be posting just for the sake of that organic reach, especially when you have 20,000, 120,000 followers. You absolutely want to be taking that into account, or you're leaving money on the table, right? When it comes to e-commerce, though, we're still evolving in those directions, because some clients only have the budget for one video, and you're going, okay, well, we got to put our backs into this one video. And to be honest with you, in today's current marketing landscape where shelf life is lower, it's terrifying. It's terrifying to just put out one piece of content and totally bank on that, rather than having like a daily social strategy put into play with spend behind it. But the question about how much do we factor in organic? More every day.
All right, let's give him a round. Video guys don't talk about CPMs. They don't talk about CPN. Yeah, they don't talk about CP anything. This has been incredible. Thank you for joining us. This is gold. It's tried, it's true, it's proven. And when you look at the success that they've had, and then they continue to have, hopefully it's something that we can put into practice, and regardless of where we're at in our video marketing journeys, to one scale or another, that we can be taking these gold nuggets and implementing in our work. So thank you for coming. Remember that on the 21st here at 11:30, same time, same place, for the customer marketing discussion panel. It's going to be really great. But let's also give a hand, not only for our presenters, but also for our sponsor, David with Elite Leaders. Thank you again for joining us. Round of applause for everyone. Thanks, everybody.